There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow.
Well, hello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. It's 2021 as I record this. It's the summer. It's a beautiful day outside. Anyway, great show today. I think you're really going to enjoy this. George Jessel stops by. And George Jessel doesn't appear in all that many things, it doesn't seem like. He was definitely the comedian's comedian if you were going to have a roast of somebody, or if you were going to have some sort of a presentation or something, you would have him there as the moderator and host. He was great. I'm surprised he wasn't bigger in radio necessarily, but I think he was one of those guys that just loved to go and perform for people, and that maybe radio wasn't as big of a draw for him, sort of like a stand-up comedian that just loves doing stand-up. And of course we know the ones better who get a television show or something like that, but there's some amazing comedians out there, and George Jessel was one of those. Also, some of his jokes are more kind of inside ball to the entertainment industry and so forth, so they can be a little harder for audiences to get, maybe. But certainly everybody in the entertainment industry looked up to him and wanted him to be on their shows and so forth. Also, he was a little older than most of them, I think. So he was definitely kicking around in vaudeville and that sort of thing. So anyway, you get a chance to enjoy him. Martha Tilton's on here. In 1939, she had a #1 hit with And the Angels Sing. And I think you're going to enjoy her performances on here. She was huge throughout the 1940s. And I think you'll really get a kick out of the work that she does on this particular episode. In fact, some of the things that she does on here, she sings How High the Moon, which is a fun song to sing. I always love How High the Moon. Bing does Row, 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 which is an interesting version. I'm sure if you've listened to a lot of my shows, you're probably used to Phil Harris singing Row, Row, Row. Which he does. Phil really does a fun job. Bing, I can tell it's not the most fun song for him to do. It probably is a little bit of work to get it to come out the right way. He even stumbles a little bit throughout the song, which is not typical of Bing. He sings with George Jessel on California Moon, so I think you're going to enjoy that as well. And then after that, we have the Railroad Hour. And today's Railroad Hour is the Gypsy Princess, and it has in it a guest starring on it is actor from Gunsmoke. He played Doc on Gunsmoke, Howard McNear. He's been on a little bit of everything this week. We had him on CBS Radio Workshop earlier this week, and he of course is always on Gunsmoke. We had him on. We've had him a number of times on Fort Laramie with Raymond Burr. He's just a great actor, and it's so much fun to hear him. So this would be a great episode for you to listen to if you don't normally listen to my Railroad Hours I put on here. I just don't get enough chance to talk. I mean, Gordon MacRae is such a fantastic singer. I'm so glad I can bring these to you, and some people really enjoy them, probably more than they enjoy the Bings. But I just love Bing, and it's nice to have another musical show to put on with his, and I just enjoy the difference in the two shows. Tonight's episode, I thought it was interesting. I've got a book on the history of the Railroad Hour written by Gerald Wilson and Martin Grams that I would suggest if you loved this show and would like to read more about it. In this one, it describes it as, it says, the Gypsy Princess first opened in 1915 in wartime Vienna and has a special place in operetta history for its affectionate evocation of cafe society and the aristocratic frivolity that was swept away in the aftermath of the First World War. And if that doesn't get you tuning in, I don't know what will. So anyway, enjoy these shows, and we'll be back with a few more Bings. Sorry we got a little off this year on presenting them on time, but it's okay. It gives us stuff to listen to throughout the summer. So enjoy, and we'll see you next time.
Only one cigarette, Chesterfield, gives you mildness plus no unpleasant aftertaste. And that's the biggest plus in cigarette history.
Buy Chesterfield, Chesterfield, the one that proves its case. Yes, Chesterfields are milder, plus no aftertaste.
So open a pack and give 'em a sniff, then you smoke 'em. Someone waits for me.
This is Ken Carpenter welcoming you to the Bing Crosby Show for Chesterfield, produced and transcribed at the Marine Memorial Theater in San Francisco, with John Scott Trotter and his orchestra, Judd Collins with the mayors and Bing's guests, Mr. George Jessel and Miss Martha Tilton. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you a man who has just completed a motor trip through the northwestern portion of the United States and Vancouver, British Columbia, Mr. Bum Crosby.
I see. Bum, huh? You're aware of the little Canadian caper that I was recently involved in up there above the border, huh?
I read it in all the papers. You really got the bum's rush, didn't you?
I got the biggest, coldest brush you've ever seen.
Well, it's your own fault, Bing, the way you dress.
What do you mean the way I dress?
Oh, I saw a picture of you in the paper.
What the hell?
You needed a shave, you were wearing a floppy hat and a beat-up old jacket, and you had a tin cup in your left hand.
Didn't you notice the handful of pencils I had in the right? Well, Ken, actually, no matter what you think, I want to tell you something. I had very little trouble getting a room at the Hotel Vancouver.
No, you didn't, huh?
No, I didn't. When rebuffed, I walked across the street. I checked into another hotel. I took a bath, shaved, changed clothes, went back to the Vancouver, walked up the desk, and got a room with very little trouble.
No trouble at all.
There's nothing, practically
Bing,
nothing.
I've been wondering ever since that. Was the hotel clerk punished or chastised in any way because he didn't recognize you?
This is surprising, Ken. What? It's amazing, but as a matter of fact, dubious honor has been heaped upon him.
Honor?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean?
He's been appointed president of the Bob Hope fan club up there.
Say, isn't that something?
Well, it certainly is, and it serves him right. I think what threw the fellow what really put him into a tizzy, a complete snit, was my hat.
Your hat?
Yes. I had hundreds of trout flies hooked into the band and onto the brim, off the face.
Yeah, Why should that frighten the room clerk?
Well, he thought they were real bugs, I guess.
I don't think he did.
Well, then why did he spray me with a flit gun? Give me that.
Well, the biggest laugh I got out of the whole story was when you said the next time you go to Vancouver, you're going to wear a blue serge suit.
Why should that give you a laugh?
Because you don't have a blue serge suit.
Oh, yes, I do. As a matter of fact, Gary is graduating from high school in it this week. Right down here at Bellarmine on the peninsula.
Yeah, but Gary's much bigger than you are.
Well, he'll squeeze into the suit or I'll break both his collarbones.
Well...
Sign that boy permanently. Book him.
Anyhow, Bing, I'll bet you didn't have any trouble getting a room here in San Francisco.
I certainly didn't. The clerk didn't even notice how I was dressed. I just walked right up, signed the register. I was shown to a room without the slightest difficulty.
Naturally. Where are you living? The Palace, St. Francis?
I'm at the Seamen's Rescue Mission. I have a lovely room there overlooking several roommates. All salty old sailors, all of them, too.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding. Of course, I do think I'd better go down to 3rd Street tonight and have a mermaid tattooed on my chest.
What for?
Well, all those sailors, Ken. I feel like a sissy in the showers.
Well, I suppose if you're going to move in those social circles, you should sport a little Technicolor decor.
I think so. I'm glad you concur, Ken. Now, by way of opening tonight, here's a timely tune. It fits the season and everything. It's got a lot of mileage on it. It is kind of an oldie, but it's a good one. Young Johnny Jones, he had a cute little boat, and all the chickens he would take for a float. He had girlies on the shore, sweet little peaches by the score. But Johnny was a Weisenheimer, you know. His steady girl was Flo. And every Sunday afternoon, she'd jump in his boat and they'd spoon. And then he'd row, row, row. Way up the river he would row, row, row. A hug he'd give her and he'd kiss her now and then. She would tell him when. He'd go around and fool around and then they'd kiss again. And then they'd row, row, row. A little further they would row, 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 row. Then he'd drop both his oars, take a few more encores, and then they'd row, row, row. Right in his boat he had a cute little seat, and every kiss he stole from Flo was so sweet. And he knew just how to row. He was a rowing Romeo. He knew an island where the trees... I'm a little old for this. He knew just where to land. And tales of love he'd tell to Flo until it was time for them to go. Then he would row, row, row. Way up the river he would row, row, row. A hug he'd give her and he'd kiss her now and then. She would tell him when. He'd go around, around. Did he back there? A little further he would row, 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 row. Then he would rest, 20 bars rest, and then he'd row, row, he'd row, then he'd row, row, row.
Nautical, Bing kids, very sprightly.
Well, it goes better with a straw hat, a blazer, and a pom-pom, but that's the best I could do with this wardrobe.
Well, I guess it's about time to sell the folks from Chesterfields, huh?
Oh,
Bing?
yes, Ken, and let's read in the wire.
Yeah.
Folks, we have a telegram here that's so important I want to read it to you right now. It's addressed to the Chesterfield people, and it says, quote, a panel of 5, all members of the faculty of the College of Liberal Arts of the University of New Hampshire, has just completed, for our foundation, its survey and appraisal of cigarette advertising. The advertising copy of 5 leading cigarettes was subjected to scrutiny and study. You'll be pleased to know that only Chesterfield advertising was judged entirely free from misleading statements or false claims. This is the unanimous opinion of the panel. The honesty of your advertising is indicative of the honesty of your product. Signed, W. Keith Simpson, Director, Newington Foundation. You know, folks, that telegram hits the nail right on the head.
That's right, folks. This telegram tells you that when we say Chesterfield gives you mildness plus no unpleasant aftertaste, you know we're steering you right.
What's more, when we tell you Chesterfield is the best cigarette for you to smoke, you know that's the truth, too. So always buy Chesterfield. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present one of our foremost singing stars, the feminine singing half of Kurt Massey time, Miss Martha Tilton.
Thank you, Ben.
Martha, just before we proceed or go any further here, I want to tell you that it's very nice of your sponsor, the Alka-Seltzer people, to let you fly up tonight and help us out in the program here.
Well, glad to do it, Bing.
You know, trying to find a girl for the show is really getting to be a headache for me, Martha, but you're here and everything is all right.
Oh, good old Alka-Seltzer always comes through.
Oh, nice little tune. Sure it does. What are you going to sing for us, Martha?
Do you like How High the Moon?
I adore it. That's a great tune, High, High the Moon. And I can't think of anybody who can give it a better belting around than you can, Martha.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the finest singers in our business, this young lady, and a delightful young lady she is to boot, as you can see. Lilton, Martha Tilton, singing How High the Moon.
Somewhere there's music, how faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. where you are. Somewhere there's heaven. How near, how far. The darkest night would shine if you would come to me soon. Until you will, how still my heart, how high the moon.
There is no moon above when love is far away too. Till it comes true that you love me as I love you.
Somewhere there's music, it's where you are. Somewhere there's heaven, how near, how far. The darkest night would shine if you would come to me soon. Until you will, how still my heart, how high the moon, how high the moon.
Oh, isn't she sweet? Really can sing, too. That was nicely turned, Martha. Really it was. It's my turn now, and I've got an awful lot of courage trying to follow you with that, because that was so stylish. But I've got a recent Decca disc that's going very big now in some sections of Sausalito. I have my spies out. They tell me it's doing quite well there. This is called Quizás, Quizás. Lovely senorita says no, and I believe her, but oh, why do her eyes say quizás, quizás, quizás? That Spanish moon is brighter tonight, it must know something alright. That's why her eyes say quizás, quizás, quizás. We should go back and dance with the rest of the dancers. And yet I have the feeling that her heart's not in her answer. The lovely senorita says no, but I'm not willing to go. Not while her eyes say quizás, quizás, quizás.
Siempre que te pregunto que cuándo, come, dónde, no siempre me respondes. Quizás, quizás, quizás. The lovely senorita says no, says no, says no. But why do her eyes say maybe?
We should go back and dance with the rest of the dancers. And yet I have the feeling that her heart's not in her answer. The lovely senorita says no, but I'm not willing to go. Not while her eyes say
quizás, 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 quizás.
Could be. Thank you very much, Stroop. You're in fine form tonight. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present one of our best-known citizens, a prominent motion picture producer, bon vivant, raconteur, fine actor, great after-dinner speaker, the Toastmaster General of the United States, Mr. George Jessel.
Thank you very much, Bing. Thank you. That was a very nice introduction, and you were very kind to mention the various fields in which I try to excel.
Oh, I could have said more, Georgie.
Yes, you could.
Yeah.
What could you have said
Well,
more?
I could have pointed out that you were also a great lover.
Oh, now, Bing, let's keep my introduction current.
What was it? You wouldn't care to just take a stroll down memory lane?
Not too far, Bing.
Well, you're looking wonderful, Georgie. Actually, you're wonderful. Your attire is so impeccable. It double-breasted gray does so much for you. You're dressed in the height of fashion. You really look pretty sharp.
Well, I wouldn't say that I look sharp, but at least I don't get thrown out of hotels for looking like a bum. I can't understand how they could do that. Don't you own that hotel?
Listen, don't stand there and tell me you never had any trouble getting into a hotel.
Never in my entire career have I had trouble checking into a hotel. Checking out, this is something else.
You lower the baggage down the aisle.
Bing, I'm worried about
What's
you.
the matter? What's bothering you?
It hurts me to think that you would be mistaken for a schnorrer or a hobo. And I'm sorry that you don't have any decent clothes. And I'd offer you money, but it happens that I don't have any.
Well, that's sweet of you, Georgie, but I don't need any.
I do. Offer me some.
Don't tell me you're short of money. What are you going to do in your old age?
Well, I'm doing very nicely.
Now, you're still a boy yet. True, you're a little gray around the temples, but...
I'm also gray outside of the temple. And I go to a great many, I'd like to have you know.
Good for you, bully. But you're youthful in spirit.
You don't say bully about a temple. That doesn't fit at all.
Dolphin Gates of College, eh? But you're youthful in spirit, and your viewpoint is youthful, George. That's what I mean. You always have 2 or 3 pictures in production. You attend this party and that party. You're flying here, flying there, making after-dinner speeches. You're in the nightclubs dancing with this beauty and that beauty.
I also collect stamps, you know. I've got a Chilean special delivery that'll kill you, really.
You got anything from Bolivia there. You're loaded. But I always wanted to ask you one question, George. This has always been in the back of my mind. You must have attended thousands of banquets and dinners, huh?
Yes, I have, all over the country. As a matter of fact, I'm the world's leading consumer of fruit cocktails, chicken a la king, romaine salad, blue cheese and crackers, and let us not forget celery and olive. No. Which I should have mentioned before the fruit cocktail.
Gotta watch those things, George. Isn't it tough talking to an audience who's just finished eating and a big meal?
Not at all. You see, an audience that has just eaten is a contented audience. Therefore, they take a friendly and appreciative attitude toward the speaker.
You're never in danger, then, of being booed or hissed.
No, I've been burped at a time. But I don't recall ever being booed or hissed.
What brings you to San Francisco, George?
I'm glad you asked me that
I didn't
question.
get to really the vibe.
I am here in the interest of a new 20th Century Fox picture, which will be out in a few months, produced by me, called Golden Girl. This is the story of Bing of Lotta Crabtree, fabulous dancer and singer who was the toast of this area during the Gold Rush days. And the Lotta Crabtree Fountain still stands here on Market Street in San Francisco. It was erected as a watering place for horses.
Yes, I know.
That's true.
I know. I often stop there for a drink when I come to town. On horseback. Yes, I do. I water my stock there.
Yeah. And I believe that, too. Any man that would come into Waldorf on an ox would do anything. Being in this picture, Golden Girl, there was a lovely song called California Moon. And I thought...
George, just a minute. How are you singing these days?
Well, now, sometimes I sing like Mario Lanza.
That's when you're on Hadacol, I think. You can't do that straight.
Sometimes I sing like Eddie Nelson.
No, that's Nelson Eddy.
I can't see good.
Get the fog out of the monocle.
Sometimes I sing like Nelson Eddy.
That's very good.
But, of course, very many times I sing like Georgie Jessel.
Well, I think that's what kills it for you.
Now, just a minute. I want you to know that at the moment I'm singing fine, and Tallulah Bankhead let me sing on her last program.
Well, unfortunately, this isn't our last one. We have a few more opportunities.
Wait a minute. I will fix this for you. I'll tell you one thing. Here's a thought. Maybe we can do the song together.
Well, now this song. Folks, this is titled California Moon. Lyrics by George Jessel and Sam Lerner. And the music by Joe Cooper.
Now, this song is from my forthcoming 20th century picture, Golden Girl, the story of Lotta Crabtree, who was never chased out of any hotel, any place. All right.
That in before we did all that.
Go ahead, sing it.
Okay. There's romance in every night underneath the light of the bright California moon. Even lonesome pines seem to kiss the clinging vines 'neath the bright California moon. Then I ask my star above, send the love I'm dreaming of, and we'll share the rare delight in the magic of a night 'neath the bright California moon. Instead of the voice of Firestone tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the masked tenor of Beverly Hills.
You'll be snug as a bug in the still of the night
When you're under the wonderful thrill of the light
of the biggest and best in the east and the west. If you give it a test, you can leave all the rest of the wonderful moon.
If you're sighing and trying to find a romance, just remember a kiss will have more of a chance.
And your heart will be dancing when you get a glance that is full of romance. You'll be put in a trance by the beautiful moon.
Then you'll ask your star above. He'll be glad to send the love you're dreaming of.
Hand in hand, you'll share in that rarest delight
when you're kissed in the mystical, magical light
of a bright California moon.
Say, Bing, I just had a great idea. Why don't we make June our national switch to Chesterfield's month?
Oh, Ken, I don't know. It might be kind of tough messing around with June. That's the month of romance, the month of brides. You know.
They won't mind, Bing. The chances are most of the honeymooners are Chesterfield fans anyway. Everybody knows Chesterfield and romance go hand in hand.
That's right. The prettiest girls all go for the fellas with Chesterfields. What say we tell the folks why?
Well, it's because Chesterfield gives you those famous ABCs plus no unpleasant aftertaste. That's the biggest plus in cigarette history.
Yep, Chesterfields are always milder, better tasting, cooler smoking, and Chesterfield is the cigarette that leaves no unpleasant aftertaste.
Science discovered it. You can prove it.
Like the man says, science discovered that of all brands tested, only Chesterfield leave no unpleasant aftertaste. Latch onto a pack and see for yourself. Do like the jingle says.
Buy Chesterfield, Chesterfield, the one that proves its case. Yes, Chesterfields are milder, plus no aftertaste.
So ho, open a pack and give 'em a sniff, then you'll smoke 'em. If I told a lie, if I made you cry, when I said goodbye, I'm sorry. From the bottom of my heart, dear, I apologize. If I caused you pain, I know I'm to blame. I must have been insane. Believe me, from the bottom of my heart,
I realize I've been unfair to you. Please let me make amends. Don't say that you forgot the love we knew. After all, we were more than friends. If I've made you blue, I've had heartaches too. Now I beg of you, forgive me. From the bottom of my heart, dear, I apologize. If I've made you blue, I've had heartaches too. Now I beg of you, forgive me. From the bottom of my heart, dear, I apologize. I
Here we are again, folks. That's the wrapper for this evening. Now our deepest thanks to Miss Martha Tilton for joining us this evening.
Oh, I enjoyed it very much, Bing.
Thanks, Martha.
I also enjoyed appearing with you, Mr. Crosby.
Well, I'm glad you can, Maxwell. And I do want you to drop in again real soon, huh?
Now, what do you mean real soon? 4 years ago I was on your program. You said the same thing. This is real soon with you?
I'll get in touch with you real soon, Georgie.
All right, and by the way, who's going to be with you next week? Because if you really meant that real soon stuff, this could be me, you know.
Oh, well, George, we have made some very extensive plans and some elaborate bookings.
Is that
we
so?
have next week Mr. Bert Wheeler and some other clever and entertaining folks who have not yet made themselves available.
Oh.
But our scouts are beating the bushes. They'll come up with somebody that'll just fracture the entire nation. Thanks again to you, George, and to Martha for coming tonight. Ken, will you move in here, please?
Right, Bing. Don't forget, folks, June 17th is Father's Day. You can show him what a great guy you think he is by giving him a carton of his favorite cigarettes, Chesterfield.
We got a wonderful new gift carton for Pop with a place for you to write your own greeting. You'll find it at your favorite Chesterfield dealer. Now, remember, for Father's Day, well, for any day, it's Chesterfield. See you next week for Chesterfield, folks, the best cigarette for you to smoke.
The Bing Crosby Show, presented by Chesterfield, was produced and transcribed in San Francisco by Bill Morrow and Murdo McKenzie. Tune in next week and hear Bing and his guests, Mr. Bert Wheeler and other scintillating personalities.
Well, hello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. I am bringing you another episode of the Bing Crosby Show. This one is from June 6th, 1951, and it features George Jessel. And we have a special guest today. We have John Mumm from who's here. He's a Bing Crosby kind of specialist. And I'm going to have him introduce himself and say kind of what he does in the world of Bing Crosby today, and it's pretty exciting. So go ahead and take it from there, John.
Hi, I'm John Mumm. I am currently one of the American contributors to the International Club Crosby. I do the regular feature every magazine going over new releases and giving my reviews, or at the very least overviews of them. Uh, I have also now been helping the club out in some ways of digital outreach. I have helped in the creation of the club's Internet Archive account, which has a lot of the old fan publications on it and every issue of Bing magazine up until 5 years ago. Um, and I have a new article coming out in the summer issue of Bing magazine, um, over Bing's million selling records, and I look forward to seeing the reactions from that.
Nice.
Uh, yeah.
And then, so if they're interested, and the Bing magazine is like a slick magazine that comes out 3 times a year. It's 56-ish pages long, give or take.
Yes.
Okay.
3 times a year, spring, summer, and fall, there's a glossy page magazine, 56 pages, usually filled to the brink with different articles, whether sometimes a few articles will be pulled from online if there's enough intrigue to them, but a lot of the time we have an overflowing amount of contributions from our fan club members of stuff to be put into the magazine. And we're always happy for new people to join. It's for our US members, it's $35 a year.
Mhm.
Um, and you get those 3 magazines, and you can always submit any articles you would like to write to one of the editors. And yeah, I have really enjoyed joining the club and receiving the magazines and helping out in my small ways.
Very nice. And what I'll do is I will include a link to the club down below in the show notes here or the description of the video or whatever. And so you can click on that. But if they can't click on that, or if they're hearing this some other way or whatever, where do they go like to get to the website for you guys? What is it under or whatever?
So if you go to
Mhm.
www.bingmagazine.co.uk,
Mhm.
that will redirect you to the front page of the International Club Crosby's website. Your best bets would go to the Contact Us page, in which you can contact uh, either the club secretary in the UK, who deals with distribution there. If you're from the UK and listening to this, he also deals with European distribution. There is the Australian representative also listed there, who, as you can tell, deals with Australian
Mhm.
distribution. Um, there is also the American vice president slash contributor, uh, who, not contributor, distributor, who does the magazines for the US. Just contact one of those people if you want to join, or if you have joined and want to submit an article, you can go to either our American co-editor or just the regular editor.
Excellent. And for John, this is no big deal. He's young enough that all of this is just comes to him naturally or whatever. I still it's still at my age, 60 some, that just thinking that people listen and watch these shows from all over the planet, and we can reach people, because back when I was younger, you'd have a ham radio and you could reach a couple of miles that people could hear you, and now we can be all over the planet, and like that, now we can go to a website, connect to somebody up in Australia, or an Australian can get this magazine is too. It's just pretty exciting how this how the internet has made the world so small. And now everybody's going, oh my gosh, this guy is old. Anyway, but but changing gears to talk about this week's episode, I just want to know with John, what stood out to you, or would you like to share information on?
One of the things that really stood out to me is the performance of Row, Row, Row with the Rhythmaires, uh, where he has a few fluffs and starts chuckling, does some asides. He obviously isn't the most familiar with the song, but that kind of helps because there's a lot of spontaneity and just like a fun verve to the whole affair that is quite lovely, and I enjoyed a lot when listening to it. The rest of the show is good too. Um, and one of the things that really stood out is the finale from Bing, which is I Apologize,
Mhm.
which he also does with the Rhythmaires. And that is a re recording of his 1931 hit, I Apologize. Um, However, vastly different singing style in 1951. So it's a nice comparison to listen to both back to back and gauge which one you may like better. Also to note is throughout the show there is a running gag about Bing getting kicked out of a Vancouver hotel, um, which is based off of something that really happened, in which he and one of the show's writers, Bill Morrow, had went to a Vancouver hotel after fishing all day. He was all scruffy and like fishing clothes, everything, and they refused him. But thankfully, a bellhop had recognized Bing and immediately went to them and were like, "This is Bing Crosby," and got him a room. Uh, and the thing that's funny about it is that it became such a big story and such a funny story that Levi ended up making the Canadian tuxedo, as it's now called, because they had just wanted to present Bing with that like denim tuxedo as sort of
Yes.
a joke on the whole event that occurred. And so there's a whole like style of jackets now that exists solely because of this little mishap, which I've always found to be a fun thing to have occurred.
I know that's crazy. I heard the same thing. And I saw, yeah. And to think that this whole style of, and it became a big style, years later, it was always floating around. But then in the 70s, it became really big again to have a suit that was all out of denim. So,
Well, it's like Bing and his Hawaiian shirts. I feel like Hawaiian shirts became more prominent as time went on in some ways,
yes.
and he was always associated with wearing one.
Yep. And I love to wear my Hawaiian shirts sometimes too. And when we get to more summertime, today it's like rainy out here. I don't know. How is it over you where you're at? Is it a rainy day or sunny day or how's it going over there?
In Iowa, it started off raining in the morning. However, then it cleared up, and now it's quite a sunny day. But the sun's setting now, since it's about 8:40 for me.
Yep. And I'm here on the West Coast, over by Tacoma, Washington, and it's been rainy all day, but that's okay. Uh, it's a great time to enjoy being on a nice rainy day or a
Yeah.
sunny day because you're right. He loves to wear his Hawaiian shirts and things. I was going to share one more thing about row row row. In fact, I'm going to clip it right after I say this. I'll introduce it first, but. Uh, Row 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 was done a lot by Phil Harris of the Jack Benny Show, and he even did a few versions for on television. And he would just get so into it, his body's so animated and things that I thought that would be fun to bring us. So I'm going to cut that clip of him doing the song so you can see Phil Harris's version and compare it to the version you've already heard, which is of course the Bing Crosby version. And I think you'll have some fun with that. I just love having John here to talk to about Bing Crosby and about these shows because I just don't have anybody I can talk to about Bing Crosby. Everybody I talk to, their eyes glaze over and they're like, "Isn't he the Christmas guy?" And that's all they know. But it's neat to have
Well, and the
somebody
other
who
two
knows
things
about
that
him.
people will mention are a bit unsavory sometimes. So,
Yes. True enough. True enough. And I don't really talk about that stuff because I don't know enough about the facts of it and things, and I just I get entertained by Bing, and I enjoy Bing's personality that comes across off the radio and things, or television, or wherever you're watching him. And I just try to enjoy that because I don't know all the background of that, and I don't really want to know. So I'll just enjoy what I enjoy with him, and because so many performers have various picadillos in their history that it's like I don't need to hear all that, so we just move on. But oh yeah,
everyone should.
another song in here that you're going to hear is "How High the Moon," and John and I were talking before we got on the air about how Bing would be with so many different performers, and one of the performers he would often be with was Les Paul. And originally with the Les Paul Trio, would be on here performing, but then later with Les Paul and Mary Ford. Well, Les Paul and Mary Ford made a big hit out of How High the Moon and their version of How High the Moon. Now it's not the one on here. The version on this episode has Martha Tilton doing it. But I think this is the same time frame. It's probably based on the fact that it became such a big hit for them. If it's not by now, it's later this year in 1951 that it becomes a big hit for Les Paul and Mary Ford.
May I add something in here real quick?
Yes, of course.
With this arrangement of How High the Moon with Martha Tilton and the Rhythmaires, uh, that arrangement would then be used later on in the. I don't know if it debuted before this show or afterward, but there's recordings of Bing singing the song with the same arrangement. So if you've maybe heard Bing sing it before, it may sound a bit familiar.
Yeah, yeah. And I just love it. I mean, and songs keep coming on Bing's show. He'll sing them himself for a few weeks, and then he'll have somebody else come in as his guest person and sing them. And so we'll get you get he gets certain songs. I don't know why this is. I don't know if it's cheaper if he plays them multiple times and he doesn't have to pay as much or so. I don't know, but he seems to get into certain songs for a while and then he'll change gears and go to a different song for a while that becomes one of his songs because the one you were mentioning, what is it? I apologize,
Yes.
has been on a few times recently on some of the episodes we've aired recently. So that's kind of cool. And then the other thing we should mention on here is that George Jessel, of course, is on here, and he's like kind of the toastmaster of all the Hollywood comedians and things. He's like your comedian's comedian. He didn't always have a big show. Sometimes he did, but more often he'd appear on other people's shows. But you were sharing about him about that he had a television show. Maybe you can share about that, John.
Yeah, in the mid 50s, George Jessel had a television show. I don't remember the sponsor off the top of my head, but in the debut episode, uh, the like band leader he had with him was John Scott Trotter. This occurred in the fall season of 1954, and earlier in 54, Bing had written to John Scott Trotter and told him that he had decided to stop doing radio. He didn't think his voice was getting good, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I
So he
remember that.
absolved him of the contract, and he still ended up doing a radio show, but the production was very much scaled down. But John Scott Trotter went on to that television program, and within the first episode, he ended up playing the original arrangement for Bing's theme song, which is where the blue of the night meets the gold of the day. And it's cool to hear it a bit more extended and without. It still has a fair bit of applause of people immediately recognizing it, but it goes on for longer than it would because you're not immediately having to go into a radio show. So that's fun to hear.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's really cool that they did that, and you said that's out there various places. People can search YouTube. Maybe it's on YouTube. I don't
Yes, it is on YouTube. I
know.
forget what the title of the video is, but if you just search up George Jessel Show 1954 first episode, it'll likely come up, and then you can just search through and find it when it opens up the curtain to the band.
Well, also, it's kind of cool if you've listened to George Jessel on here. It'd be kind of nice for you to see him so it's within 5 years of this episode. So he's going to look
Yeah.
about the same probably as he did in this episode. So that's kind of cool. And do you know anything about like anything you've read or anything about why uh Crosby was so adamant that he did not want to do television. He was the most anti-television of just about anybody I can think of. But it makes sense to
Well,
me. My thought on it was just he just loved doing radio so much and loved doing his radio show that he was just frustrated that his ratings were going away because people were watching television. But do you know more about that, John?
part of it when television was really becoming normalized in the year he did his first television like special. He had appeared for like a cameo or for like one song on and off beforehand, but his first special was 1954,
Yep.
and his first two specials, both in that year, are essentially uh, just 30-minute filmed radio broadcasts,
Yeah.
same format as the show, just with less banter with Ken Carpenter because he wasn't brought onto the set, which I think is a bit disappointing because the Bing and Ken Carpenter rapport is very important in the shows, I feel.
I think so
Um,
too. They're great together. Yeah.
yes. But those weren't the best reviewed, and he just kind of viewed it as an exercise that seemed to like suck out the enjoyment for people. As like, radio show is one thing where you're hearing their voice, but like seeing them every week, like he thought people could get tired easily of it.
Yeah.
Which is why he primarily, outside of a brief stint of a one-season sitcom in 1964 to 1965, he only appeared either every once in a while as a guest host of the Hollywood Palace or
Hmm.
doing the different specials throughout the year. Um, he didn't want to get himself tied down to a TV program, both because he was kind of going into a semi-retirement. Like I said, especially during the 50s in the wake of his first wife's passing, it seems there is some sort of midlife crisis of some kind that even carried over into the 60s. From the 50s to the 60s, you can see a lot of interviews and thoughts expressed by Bing that he doesn't think he sang as good as he used to many
Right.
times. Um, and of course, he always viewed himself to be not that good of a singer to begin with, so he viewed any possible declination in his abilities to be assigned to stop doing stuff.
Right. Right. I mean, he just had such a unique voice. I just love his voice. But the other thing is, I was thinking, and maybe you know this too, I don't know, but I was thinking when he did the the TV shows in 54, that I was thinking they probably kind of were thrust upon him like, hey, if we're gonna, because it was the same sponsor as his radio show, right? I
Yeah.
think. So I think his radio show people are always said, yeah, okay, we'll sponsor another year of the radio show, but we want you to appear on at least television this one or two times or whatever, and talked him into doing it that way, as making it a contingency of his radio show, because it just seems so strange for him because he was so against it. But that first one features Jack Benny on it, and so it's not
Yeah.
he and Jack are always good together. So I remember us airing. I mean, it's up on YouTube and you can watch it, but and we've aired our versions out there with our intro or our a little intro on it, and then we talk about it afterwards. But I enjoyed that episode. It's funny because you listen to it and the sound quality is not anywhere near as good as the radio shows that we have preserved. It's just too bad that we don't have the TV shows preserved with the same sound quality that we do the radio shows, but
Well,
it is.
here's here's something interesting to think about. Uh, for the second show, which I do not have, I've never seen in full, but I've seen most of the musical items.
Right.
Um, we have an alternate take of the song After You've Gone from
Mhm.
that show that is in tape quality. A lot of the songs seem to come from the same vault as like all the radio songs that were prepared for that period of time.
Right.
Some an alternate take, for instance, in the second one of the two shows, Dear Hearts and Gentle People, is
Mhm.
sung. That one features Bing doing a high note ending, which we don't have on the radio equivalents, but besides that, it's about the same. And both shows were done on film on the Paramount lot. Um, so that's why the sound quality is a bit worse because it is from the optical soundtracks of those original film shows instead of being the direct tape masters that are presumably still around and with the other tape masters. And I would hope that we have a higher quality version because in that first General Electric show, like TV show, there was a impeccable version of It Had to Be You.
Oh, nice. That would be nice to hear that in better sound quality. And we could also probably, if it was found and things, they could probably sync it up, even if it didn't have the video to it. You could sync it up with the video and then make the video have higher sound quality at the same time.
Yeah.
So that,
And they probably had those elements available when they released it on to DVD back in 2010, but they probably didn't sync it because then the other stuff that was done live with the like studio mics, there'd be such a shift in quality that I can understand why that might
sure. Unless, I wouldn't do that either unless you found the whole
be. Yeah.
audio of the entire show and could do that to the entire show. Yeah. But like you say, commercials would probably not have in high quality, but that's okay. I mean, lots of things I watch, the commercials are not as high quality as a TV show or whatever. But anyway, but I guess that's probably a good place for us to stop. And but I want to thank you, John, for coming in here and sharing with us. It's fantastic. I can't wait to have you future weeks to do more of this and talk about more of his shows. You'll have to like share with me sometime online about who your favorite like guests are, and so I can try and especially have you back for like those kind of shows too, so we make sure you're catching some of your best people. Up in the upcoming weeks, I'm going to keep on playing the ones that where we're at, because I try and play the ones that are, exactly 60 years old, 70 years old, 75 years old, that sort of thing. And that's sort of where we're playing with right now. We got the last 6 episodes of the season, but there's probably Jessel is the biggest star that was in these episodes. Probably the rest of them have stars who were big at the time, like recording stars, but not ones that really carry over with people. They're not household names anymore. So, but we will bring those to you anyway, because I just think it's fun being with whoever he's performing with. And then next season, he's going to be with lots of huge people. And when we run out of episodes too, I'm going to go back and grab ones from earlier. Those might be fun ones for John and I to do intros on, because they'll be people like Judy Garland and Bob Hope and folks from earlier in the season that we never got a chance to present and things. So, but we'll probably do that. John, I hope you had a good time with us too.
Yes, I did. And when you mentioned future shows, I pulled up my directory of shows, and all I can say is you're going to have a packed end of June thing with the last couple shows there. You get Tommy Dorsey.
Yeah.
Joe Venuti, wonderful jazz violinist, on the June 20th one. And the June 27th one, you'll have Burl Ives on there. So that'll be 2 good shows, I would think.
Yes. And the Burl Ives one, the last time we presented Burl Ives, I was able to find there could be way more. I don't know. I found 9 surviving episodes of the Burl Ives show from 1946, which is just a 15-minute show, but it's awesome because he has songs, his folk songs, and then he introduces them and talks about them too. And it's very, the style of it is so much fun to listen to. So I presented it last time with the episode. One of the about half of them have high quality sound, about half of them sound terrible. So I just decided to go and present the ones. So I'll do that again. I will figure out another good episode from the Burl Ives show to present along with the Bing Crosby show. And I think that would be a fun one for maybe John and I to do again if we get a chance, because then John could hear both the Burl Ives one and this show and comment on both of them. So that'll be fun. So
yes, I would happily do that.
Would be great. Okay. Well, thanks again, John, and we'll sign off. So thanks, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Railroad Hour. And here comes our star-studded show train. Tonight, the Association of American Railroads presents the delightful Kalman operetta, Gypsy Princess, starring Gordon MacRae, and his guest, the Metropolitan soprano, Yarmila Novotna. Our choir is under the direction of Norman Luboff, and our music is prepared and conducted by Carmen Dragon. Yes, tonight another great musical success is brought to you by the American Railroads, the same railroads that bring you most of the food you eat, the clothes you wear, the fuel you burn, and all the other things you use in your daily life. And now here is our star, Gordon MacRae. caller, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we're bringing you a musical fantasy. In it, I'm a prince named Ronald. Yarmina Novotna is Silver, a beautiful star of the operetta stage and glittering society cafes, known throughout the mythical countries where our fairy tale takes place as the Gypsy Princess.
Lord Boniface, isn't she magnificent?
You know, Prince Ronald, you remind me of your father.
What? Why, I'm young, Lord Boniface. I love life and gaiety. My father's a hard, cold man. In fact, he's insisting now that I return to my own country.
Yes, Ronald, but when your father was young...
Oh, Ronald, Lord Boniface, how delightful.
Silver, how beautifully you sang. You're even lovelier than I remembered you.
Could such a change take place in one cold day?
If you two will excuse me,
Oh, Lord Boniface, don't run away.
No, don't be in a hurry.
But I can see from the light in you two young people's eyes that I'll be much more welcome somewhere else.
Well...
besides, the ladies of the chorus is finished, and there's one of them that I'm anxious to have a little chat with.
We understand, Bonnie.
Good luck, Boniface.
Oh, thank you. A man my age needs it.
I'm afraid Lord Boniface is in for some competition tonight. Why, all of the men here are eager to win the favor of the ladies of the chorus.
How about you, Prince Ronald?
Oh, that's something that every man goes through at one time or another. But that's all behind me. My eyes and my heart are fastened on a star. With lads who come from college, we've read the book of knowledge, except perhaps its most absorbing page. Romantic education begins with gravitation towards the lovely sirens of the stage. In years of indiscretion, we had the same obsession, and frequently we get the craze anew. We have a glamour that transcends the charm of other lady friends. First of all, this limelight lends enchantment to the view. But when we see them closer and hear them murmur, oh, sir, you're very kind, and I don't mind, provided I can bring a pal or two. We we succumb to the craze for the nimble corner face our elders and betters had before us. We meet them, we treat them, we take them out to dine. We fed them, we let them monopolize us. Before very long we are going rather strong, believing they honestly adore us. Sympathetic, strenuous, excitable, ingenuous, engaging little ladies of the chorus. With a smart pair of hose and a nice powdered nose, and eyes that provoke and implore us. They fool us, they rule us, we never stand a chance. They coax us, but there, God bless all their dear little hearts. If they don't aspire to part, their faces and figures simply floor us. Their witchery's continuous, the slender, shapely, sinuous, enticing little ladies of the chorus. The dangerous, deplorable, bewildering, adorable, enticing little darlings of the chorus.
There are some very charming girls in our chorus, Ronald.
Silver, I'm in love with only you. I want you to marry me.
Oh, Ronald. In your country, princes don't marry gypsy singers. You can't defy your father.
But I know what we can do. In this country, a marriage performed by a notary is binding, provided it is followed by a church ceremony within 3 months. Read this, my princess.
I, Ronald, the Prince of Cotonou, do hereby most solemnly declare that I take Silva Barescu to be my lawful wedded wife, and that within 3 months I will confirm this contract before God and the world. Oh, Ronald.
In the 3 months this gives us, I know I can work things out with my father. Say you will, Silva.
Oh, Ronald. How can I say no when my heart is crying yes?
Silver, 'tis you I love, 'tis you I love, and you alone. Passion is a restless river, love a common boundless sea. Love is an unsparing giver, generous and brave and free. Passion is a fleeting, fond emotion, volatile as morning dew. Love is an eternal, deep devotion. Such a love is mine, sweet, for you.
Was all the world before you, dear? Why have you chosen me?
Ah, Silver, you are all my world, beloved, and must ever be. For love is love that sweeps aside all worldly wealth and power and pride, and still when radiant youth has died, divinely clothed, love is love that pays the price in pure and selfless sacrifice, to find at last where grows tenderest love's unfaded rose.
Better far to leave unspoken all your longing lips would say. Let me with a heart unbroken go up my lonely way. Pity me, I pray, and plead no longer, lest they will learn to rule. Destiny than all love stronger will that I should part, dear, from you.
My heart, my honor, and my all I lay before your feet.
But sacrifice for the merry fall will be but an memory pure and sweet. For
mind now, Silver. I shall return to my own country, and I will send for you in a very short time, my darling.
I will never permit the heir to my throne to marry a stage performer. You hear me? Never. I shall announce your engagement to the Countess Crosby at once.
It won't do any good, Father. I had hoped for your blessings before Silver and I have our religious ceremony. But if you will not grant them, I'll marry her without them. And don't forget, we have already had our civil ceremony.
In this country, only a religious ceremony is valid. That you will never have. I shall announce your engagement.
I'll never marry the Countess Crosby, Father. I'll never marry anyone but my Gypsy princess.
You mustn't leave, Silver. Ronald will send for you. You have his word for it.
Ronald's word means very little. He left me to return to his own country and talk to his father. Everyone knows the result of that conversation. Ronald's engagement with Countess Crosby has been announced. It's all over for Ronald and me. It's all over. Oh, it's a mild and great when home is night, and all of stuff to be denied, I must forget him. I shall never return to this country or to him.
There must be a way. In our hearts, Silver and I are married. There can never be another.
For love is love that pays the price in pure and selfless sacrifice to find at last where true tenderest love
Now here is the second act of The Gypsy Princess, starring Gordon MacRae and his guest star Yarmila Novotna.
Only if he allows you to complete your marriage contract with Silver.
It's no use now, Mother. I was unable to find Silver. She left me only this note.
My dear Ronald, it was a gay and lovely interlude, but I'm sure you didn't take our civil ceremony any more seriously than I did. And to me, it was an amusing way to say goodbye. I wish you and your bride to be every happiness. Oh, my poor Ronald.
There are only a few days of our 3 months left, Mother. When they are past, I shall marry the Countess Crosby.
You shouldn't. No, you shouldn't have run away from Robin and left him only that note, Sylvia.
Oh, Bonnie, I know it now. I must see him again, and in another day it will be too late. Take me to the court of Ronald's father, Bonnie, and introduce me as your wife.
Tomorrow is the day, my son. The 3 months will be up. Your silly marriage contract with that gypsy singer can be forgotten.
Ronald, you're not listening to your father.
No, Mother. I was watching Lord Boniface's wife. She just walked into the garden alone.
Now, you're promised to another. Although I must say I don't blame any man for watching the Lady Boniface. She's lovely.
She's one of the most charming guests we've ever had at the palace.
Now, if you had gone through a civil ceremony with someone like that...
Excuse me, Mother. Father, I must speak to her while she's alone. Silver, I must talk to you.
I was just going in, Ronald. I came out here looking for my husband.
Why did you marry Lord Boniface?
Oh, what's the good of talking about it? I'm married. You are about to be married. There's nothing more to be said.
Then the promises we made, the life that we planned to share means nothing to you.
Oh, it's a lovely dream, Ronald. And a lovely memory. light and dark, the glowing faces clinging in the moon embraces gypsy music sweet and low.
Merry dance and gleaming tresses, flashing glance and soft caresses, all the rapture love can know.
There amid the scene of splendor, of revelry and laughter free, in arms unutterably tender, there was one you loved for me.
Oh, memories of mirth and rapture, oh, memory of love's first kiss.
In dreams alone can we recapture that sweet bliss, that supreme bliss.
Dream once again, never, never to waken. Let light bring in the heart as of old. Faith shall remain through all our sorrows unshaken. Hope ne'er was vain. Love yet shall reign. Deep heart beat us sweet. Once again.
Goodbye, Ronald.
Silver.
Ronald, are you kissing Boniface's wife?
I can't think of her as his wife, Father.
Come, children. No one else has seen you. Let's return to the ball and forget this.
What's going on out here?
Oh, Lord Boniface, I apologize for my son's conduct. He was kissing your wife.
Edwin!
Bonnie, will you please take me home?
No, I don't think I will. King Edwin, this lady is not my wife.
Bonnie!
She isn't your wife.
What do you mean?
Silver wanted to see you just once more, Ronald, before you married the Countess. So she asked me if I would present her as my wife. And King Edwin, the lady has every right to kiss your son. She's his wife, if they have a religious ceremony before midnight.
And we're going to have it.
This is the girl who... I forbid it. No son of mine shall marry a cabaret singer.
Sire, if you will forgive me, I think you're in no position to make such a statement.
Boniface, I shall have you beheaded for such impertinence.
Nonsense, Edwin. Lord Boniface has a perfect right to say what he did. Go on, Boniface. Tell all of them.
Ronald, you remember I once told you that you were a great deal like your father? Well, your mother was a singer, a great star, before your father married you.
Your mother was the widow of a count.
Before I married the Count, I was a cabaret singer, and you know it. And if my son's happiness is at stake, it's time the rest of the world knew. If you refuse to give your blessings to this marriage, I shall tell the entire kingdom who I am.
Oh, bravo, Your Highness.
Mother, you're wonderful.
And now, Edwin, I think you'd better go in and explain to the Countess Sassy.
No, let Ronald do it.
No, Father, I haven't time. Sylph and I are going to make arrangements for our religious ceremony. Right now.
Oh, darling, do you really think it's wise?
Why? I think it's wise, wonderful, the greatest thing that ever happened.
Wonder the thousand wonders, grand divine. Mine is my darling forever. Mine, mine, mine.
Hour of tender, sweet surrender, bliss without alloy, moment of infinite splendor, deepest joy. All the tiny stars are singing love's sweet song.
In my heart are
so the prince and the gypsy princess were at last married. And you know what happened then, don't you?
They lived happily ever after.
Sing, 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 happy Lord. Sing, 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 sing. La 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 la, la 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 la. Yes, and the fly away. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yamina Novotna will be back in just a moment. Our thanks to the other members of our cast, Norma Varden, Howard McNair, Marvin Miller, and to our entire company. Gypsy Princess, with music by Emmerich Kalman, book by Arthur Miller, and lyrics by Arthur Stanley, was dramatized for the Railroad Hour by Gene Holloway. The Railroad Hour is brought to you each week at this time by the American Railroad. To help meet the nation's demand for graduate nurses, including the growing requirements of the armed forces, at least 50,000 young women are needed as student nurses this year. If you're a high school graduate or college student, and if you're interested in a career of great prestige, opportunity, and service to humanity, visit your nearest hospital, school of nursing, or school advisor, and find out about the many attractive opportunities for a career and for self-development which nursing offers young women. Now here again is Miss Novotna. Yamina, you were a wonderful and exciting gypsy princess.
Thank you, Gordon. You, Father, was certainly a problem tonight. I never thought I'd get you.
Well, times have changed. Nowadays, any young man's father would be glad to have his son marry a singer like you.
That's what my father-in-law always said. What girl are you after next week, Gordon?
Evelyn Case, I think. She's definitely going to be our guest star. But in the show, the boys from Syracuse, I sort of get so confused that I'm not even sure who I am.
Oh, I'll bet you find out in time for a happy ending. I'll certainly be listening to you and Miss Case and all of that wonderful music.
Well, thank you and good night, Yamina. And thanks again for being with us.
All aboard!
Well, folks, it looks as though we're ready to pull out, and so until next week, this is Gordon MacRae saying goodbye.
Gypsy Princess was presented by arrangement with the Tams Whitmark Music Library. Gordon MacRae appeared through the courtesy of Warner Brothers. Our choir is under the direction of Norman Luboff, and our music is prepared and conducted by Carmen Dragon. This is Marvin Miller saying goodbye until next week for the American Railroad. Now keep tuned for your Monday night of music on NBC. Transcribed, your Monday of Music continues with the Telephone Hour next on NBC.